In this video, we're going to take a look at finding the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. Now for this video, I'm not going to show essentially the derivation of the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix, so you are just going to have to take this as truth, but I will show you how we find the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. So we've got two examples here on this page, and then there's an example, or a problem I should say, for you to have a go at on the next page. So let's start with this first one here, the matrix A. So we've got our 2 by 2 matrix 5, 1, 2, and 2. And we're asked to find A inverse. So how do we find the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to find the determinant of this matrix here. So our matrix A. So remember to find the determinant, so det A, this is nice and easy. All we do is we find the product of the main diagonal, so 5 times by 2. And then we find the product of the other diagonal and we subtract that from this diagonal here, or the product of this diagonal. So 2 times 1, so minus 2 times 1. So we get 10 minus 2, giving me 8 there. So det A, the determinant of this matrix A, is equal to 8. So for the inverse then, what we do is we take the determinant and we do 1 over the determinant, so 1 over det A. So in this case, that would be 1 over 8. And then what we do is we take our matrix A here, and we just do a little bit of a modification to this matrix. So what we do here is we switch the elements along the main diagonal. So it won't be 5 in the top left corner, it will become 2. So we switch those elements, so 2 top left, and then the 5 goes into the bottom right. And then we change the sign of these the elements along this diagonal. So it'll be minus 1 and minus 2 there. Okay. And there we have it. So that's A inverse. So this is A inverse. Now, you could, if you wanted, multiply through by this scalar here. So you'd get 2 over 8, or 1/4, minus 1 over 8, minus 1/4, and then 5 over 8. And if you do this on a calculator, that is typically how the solution is given. So what you'll be given on your calculator here, if you put this in, you'd be given 1/4, minus 1/8, minus 1/4, and then finally you get 5 over 8 there. Okay, so if you put that into your calculator, this matrix A, and then put in A inverse, this is how your calculator would present the solution. Okay, so just be aware of that, but you can also give the solution in that way. So that's the solution to the first example. Let's take a look at this one now. So we've got the matrix B here, that's minus 4, A, minus 2, and 2, and we're asked to find B inverse. So again, we just start by finding the determinant of the matrix B. So we need det B here. So det B, again, nice and straightforward. We find the product of the main diagonal. So minus 4 times 2 here. And then we subtract the product of the other diagonal. So that's going to be minus A times minus 2. So we're running out of room a little bit. So minus 4 times 2 gives me minus 8. 8 times minus 2 is minus 16, so minus 16 is the same as plus 16, so I get 16 there. And then minus 8 plus 16, again, we get the same determinant, we get 8. So a bit of a coincidence, but we get the same determinant. So det B is equal to 8. So what we do now is we take our determinant and we do 1 over that, we take the reciprocal, so we get 1 over 8. So this is for B inverse. So we get 1 over 8. We take our matrix B here, and again, we just do a bit of a modification. So the elements along the main diagonal switch positions. So we get 2 in the top left corner, minus 4 in the bottom right corner. And then these two elements switch signs. So that would be positive 2, and that will be minus 8 there. Okay. And there we have it. Again, you can give your solution by multiplying through by the scalar here. It's completely up to you, but I just typically would leave it in this form here. Okay, so there we go. So that's our solution to the second example. So now it's your turn to have a go at this problem here. So you've got the matrix C, have a go now, see if you can find C inverse. Like always, pause the video now, have a quick go, and then we'll take a look in a moment at what you should have got. So hopefully you got an okay with this problem. Let's take a look at what you should have got now. So we've got the matrix C here. This is defined as 5, 3, minus 1, and 2. And we're asked to find C inverse. So again, pretty standard. We just start by finding the determinant of C. So we need det C here. So det C, well, we find the product of the main diagonal. So that's 5 times by 2. And then we subtract the product of the other diagonal. So minus 3 times minus 1. Well, 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times minus 1 is minus 3, so minus minus 3 would give us plus 3 there. So 10 plus 3, giving us 13 for the determinant of C. Now, we need the inverse, so what we do here is we write C inverse, and we take the reciprocal of our determinant, so 1 over 13, and then we multiply this by the modified matrix C here. So remember the main diagonal switch, so that's going to be 2, 5, and then the signs change for the other diagonal. So that's going to be 1 in the bottom left corner, and that will be minus 3 in the top right corner. And there we have it. So that's what you should have got for our solution to this problem. Hopefully you found this helpful. In the next video, we're going to take a look then at finding the inverse of a 3 by 3 matrix.